What's up, everybody? Good morning. It's time to take a look at Seahawks pass coverage in this most recent game. We're talking pass rush Thursday, and we got to give it up to these guys in coverage. We got to give it up to our defense, who really locked down on the Eagles' passing attack. I think Hurts averaged 4.6 yards per attempt with no pass rush. We barely touched Jalen Hurts. I don't think we landed a single real quarterback hit. Forget about sacks. Like, sacks are unthinkable. We couldn't even touch. We weren't even able to touch Jalen Hurts for pretty much that whole game. So the fact that we were able to keep Hurts so inefficient and ineffective is remarkable. And Hurts has something to do with that, with him playing through a sickness. But regardless, you got to say this crew stepped up maybe more than any other part of this team. To play like that against those receivers when you're getting zero pass rush, remarkable. So let's break it down here the best that we can. We're going to start with the linebackers. Wagner, it wasn't terrible or anything like that. He got targeted 3 times, gave up 3 completions for a grand total of 30 yards. I think all 3 of those completions converted third downs, though, so we're really seeing these teams lock in on Wagner as the guy to go after on third down. And we don't seem to really understand how to work around it the way the Rams did last year, so therefore we're in this situation where I don't think Wagner's a terrible player or anything like that, but he's really starting to be a negative anchor on this team. And I hate to say it because I do think he's still providing value as a run defender. And I think that when we do blitz him, he does provide some value there, although even that's starting to slip away. But man is just out of gas. Like the first or second play of the game on Monday night, he was chasing Jalen Hurts to the sideline. He looks so slow. So we got 3 more games left this season, and then we got whatever we got in the playoffs, if we make it or not make it. And I'm still so conflicted here. We don't seem to understand how to put Bobby in the situations to succeed, but I feel like we need his leadership. So I don't know what I want to do. But as a player, it just doesn't seem like it's going to work out. We don't understand how to work around his weaknesses the way the Rams did. QB rating allowed in coverage 118.4. He's going to get to 500 yards allowed in coverage this next game. This is not going to be as bad as it was in previous seasons with Wagner, but it's still not going to be anywhere near good. Now, Jordan Brooks, on the other hand, pretty dang good. He got targeted twice in this game, and he played basically the whole game. 1 completion. So, 1 completion, and I believe that completion went for, 11 yards. It was mostly yak, too. So, Jordan Brooks continues to have by far his best season ever in coverage. He's allowing a high percentage of completions, and don't get me wrong, I know a lot of these short completions still go for first downs. So it's not like he's locking down, but realistically, at the linebacker position, who is locking down? That's a very rare thing. That's a very rare attribute. What I do know is that we've got 3 games left, and Jordan Brooks has a really good chance to end up around 400 yards allowed in coverage on the season, which is way better than we're used to. Way better. It's not even close. 86.2 QB rating by a linebacker is really good. Oh, and by the way, most of his yards, a vast majority of his yards are yak. So that's something that might not even be on Brooks. That could be, yeah, Brooks allowed the completion, but somebody else allowed yards after the catch because they didn't tackle. So put it all together, and Brooks has really kind of found himself here. I don't think he's a great cover player, but I do think we are coming to a little bit of an understanding here. So that's exciting. All right, edge rusher, there was only 1 new thing here. We had Draymond Jones. He allowed 1 completion in this game for, 3 yards. Not much to say there. Just cost of doing business sometimes. All right, so that is it for the edge room. Nice and short. Cornerback, Woolen, I believe he gave up 1 completion on 1 target for not very much. It was 10 yards. But he didn't play that much, and he failed in other areas. Doesn't seem like the issues with Woolen are going to get fixed this year. And I really want to highlight this. It's really too bad that it's gone this way because his coverage metrics are still really good. He is an outside corner on a team with an average pass rush, and I do think overall our pass rush is pretty average. And he's allowing 56.5 completion percentage, 330 yards, not even 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Like, these are really good cover metrics for an outside cornerback on this team. And at this point, we can't even really embrace it because he's just so bad at tackling and run support. It wipes everything else out. It sucks. But get this fixed. One way or the other, we got to get this fixed, or else we're going to waste this, which is really, really good. Mike Jackson, he ended up playing a big chunk of that game, and he played really well. He got targeted 8 times, 4 completions. I will take that from my outside cornerback any day of the week. And those 4 completions went for all of 15 yards. So an outside corner doing that is definitely winning football. 81.4 QB rating allowed. I can't figure out the Mike Jackson thing. I don't know what's going on with Mike Jackson. Like, he's the superstar in training camp. Then he's awful in the preseason to the point where he doesn't even get to play when the season starts, really. Then he gets back on the field now because of an emergency, and he's playing phenomenally well. Not just in coverage, by the way. I mean tackling, too. So, I don't know. Maybe Mike Jackson just kind of goes through cycles of peaks and valleys, and it's unpredictable, and I don't get it, man. But we are on a roller coaster with Mike Jackson right now. Trey Brown played a big chunk of this game. 5 targets, 3 completions, nice and solid. And we're talking about a decent chunk of yards, but not necessarily terrible. What is this? 35 yards. Okay, I can live with that. I mean, you're not going to completely shut down an NFL offense to the point where they have like 30 total yards. So they got to come somewhere. 83.1 QB rating. Again, all 3 of our main cornerbacks this year, when they have played, have been really good in preventing stuff in coverage. The main issue has become, well, they're kind of going after our edge players to a certain extent now, and it's actually kind of exploded to the point where it's a problem. And it's been safety play. It's been, to a certain extent, Wagner. These cornerbacks have more or less lived up to the billing. Really happy about that. Kobe played a little bit but didn't get targeted. I think Ryker Burns got targeted. Yeah, he got targeted twice. Gave up 1 completion. Wasn't a heck of a lot to report here. Yeah, 5 yards. Really good game for Ryker Burns. Good to see him back. Good to see him continuing to grind. And yeah, solid game from the corners. Safety, Quandre Diggs. I mean, we're gonna have a little bit of a fan base civil war over Quandre this offseason, I'm sure. This game, I do suspect he was a little bit better. He had a really good play on 3rd and 6 to force the Eagles to kick a field goal. He got targeted 4 times in this game, gave up 2 completions. I can totally live with that. Now those 2 completions go for 32 yards, which, not ideal, but I'm willing to live with it. Again, Hurts is going to complete passes eventually. 101.6 QB rating allowed is still not really where you want to be, but I don't know. There's a lot of conflict within me about Quandre Diggs right now. I know he's doing some things well. And then you've got Julian Love, the man of the hour. According to PFR, he got targeted 4 times and allowed 1 completion, and that 1 completion went for all of 10 yards. So he had more catches than he allowed, according to PFR. I think Next Gen Stats gave him 2 completions allowed. Either way, really, really, really good stuff. Now, it doesn't take away from how lackluster his coverage has been all season, and many people have been discussing this lately as it regards Julian Love. This guy doesn't even play every snap. This guy spends a lot of his snaps playing safety. I know he plays some corner too, but he has been targeted twice as often as Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs. So there are people out there who are basically telling Seahawks fans, hey, slow down here. Julian Love had an awesome game, but the body of work is that his coverage abilities have not been as good as Jamal Adams or even Quandre Diggs this season. His 552 yards allowed in coverage are probably among the most in the league for safeties. So I there is some truth there. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Jamal Adams was not a coverage liability until these last 2 games. Not really, anyway. And Yeah, with the rate at which Julian Love gets targeted is troubling. I still think we got to rock with it for now. Still think we got to at least try to let Julian Love just own that position and see what's up. It sounds like Jamal Adams is injured anyway, so you may as well give him a little bit of extra time to work through that. But yeah, I do want to make it very clear here. The body of work matters, and Julian Love's body of work has been up, down, left, right, center, all over the place. But a really good game from him. The 2 picks, 82.2 QB rating allowed, which I mean, it's a little deceptive because of the 4 interceptions. I don't know if that undoes 40 completions allowed. But yeah, and that's it. That's it for pass coverage Thursday. Let me know what you guys think down below. Talk to you guys later today. We got more videos coming out. Hawks Nest stream tonight. I might be streaming on Twitch kind of early today because I'm not working. You might see me in the early afternoon or even in the morning. Keep an eye out. See you guys later, and go Hawks.